Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to Channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl gear and more. Today we are talking about some vinyl oddities, including reverse groove records and, believe it or not, modern day 78 RPM records. So I showed this 10-inch Rob Zombie record a couple weeks back, and some people were asking questions about it. What makes this particular record unique is that it is a reverse groove record. It came out on Record Store Day like a decade ago or something. And here's the record, and I'll show you a demonstration here in a second, but it's actually pretty cool. When you put it on your turntable, you actually drop the needle on the inner groove and the record plays out. So let's take a closer look at this reverse groove, or this center start record, whatever you want to call it. As I said, you just basically put it on your turntable, and instead of dropping the needle on the outer edge of the record, you start it on the inside of the record. And as you'll see here, the record just keeps playing until it reaches the outside. These generally sound as good as a regular record. There's no reason why they wouldn't. Rob Zombie did this, as you see with this record, but there have been many other examples over the years. A popular one was a Record Store Day release from the Black Keys about a decade ago. I know a lot of people have been asking me, well, what happens when the needle gets to the outside of the record? Does it just fall right off, or what goes on? Does it fall over the edge? And no, it doesn't. There is actually a locked groove there, or you could call it an infinite loop. Really, it's the same thing as a regular record. You play a regular record and the needle gets to the center of the record and the side is over. It hits that locked groove and just keeps going and going and going. It's the same thing here, but instead of the locked groove being on the inside of the record, it is on the outside of the record. So no, the needle will never fall off the vinyl. Now, I am playing this on a fully manual Technics SL 1200 turntable. But from what I understand, these records should work on most turntables, most record players. That is because the starting groove is typically far enough away from the center to avoid engaging auto return mechanisms on automatic turntables. I'm sure there are exceptions. I understand these records may be difficult to play on linear tracking turntables, for example, but I've never tried it, so I can't say for sure. Apparently, reverse groove records are also really good for classical music. Classical music pieces tend to start quiet and build up, which doesn't translate well onto regular vinyl. Due to the physics of the medium, records can handle loud, dynamic music better on the outside of records rather than on the inside. A reverse groove or a backwards record solves this problem. So, in case you didn't know, that's how a reverse groove record works.
Channel 33 RPM.
Alright, I also want to talk about 78 RPM records, this ancient technology, but did you know there's actually a company out there making modern 78 RPM records? In case you don't know, 78s were a thing from around 1898 until the late 1950s. The discs were called 78s because they were played at a speed of around 78 revolutions per minute. They were generally made from shellac resin and quite rigid, so dropping them often resulted in shattering the discs. 78s came in a variety of sizes, but the most common were 10-inch and 12-inch. It's important to note that those old school 78s were mono records. They weren't stereo. Since they were designed to be played on gramophones, the grooves were also much larger than 33 and 45 PM records and needed a larger needle to be played. At least that's my understanding of 78s and the history of them. I don't have a record player that can play 78s. Nonetheless, check this out. I found this really interesting. There's this company called Rivermont that is still making modern 78 RPM records. Okay, check this out. It says, enjoy all three of Rivermont's brand new 78 RPM vinyl records for 2022. This is modern stuff. For 2022 in the specially priced bundle set, combining the thrilling sounds of 1920s style hot dance orchestras with sensuous early 30s style vocals. So these are not the old school brittle shellac records. At least that's the way I understand it. These are vinyl records, 10-inch vinyl records that play again at 78 RPM. Check this out. It says that right here on the website. It says, note, these are 10-inch, 78 RPM stereo micro groove vinyl records. They are intended for use on modern turntables equipped with lightweight stereophonic pickups. In brackets, it says use a normal LP stylus. Goes on to say they are not suitable for use with antique wind-up phonographs. So they're basically regular old vinyl records that play at 78 RPM. I don't know exactly how these are produced or what sorts of digital files they're using to make these records, but in theory, at least, you would think these records would have better sonic characteristics than 33 RPM records and 45 RPM records. I'd be pretty curious to try one out. How about you? What sorts of cool or novelty records do you have in your collection? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out this video I did on the bizarre world of Soviet X-ray records. I'll see you there in a couple of minutes. Until then, keep on spinning.